Good morning, everybody. We'll be with you in just a few moments. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about getting started a little late here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show. Usually this is when I introduce my co-host, Pedro Garcia, in the box next to me, but he is running late today. We'll see him later in the show. Anyway, it is April 9th, 2025. One day closer to Christmas, one day closer to my birthday, and one day closer to a supernova taking out all of your crypto problems and, well, all the other problems in the world too, and all the good things and everything else. Anyway, the show isn't going to come at you like a supernova. We're going to have a slow talk today. Last night I did a Rumble Premium subscribers only session on tariffs, Trump tariffs, and trade deficits. And I'm going to repurpose some of that here to talk about that this morning while waiting for Pedro to talk about the markets. Bitcoin is languishing in the high 70s right now. People are expecting a dump down to in the 60s, including my friend Pedro Garcia is expecting that. Bookmap shows that the liquidity is down there. There's a little bit of liquidity above it. I'd bring it up now, but my computer's at max resources. And so Pedro, come on, give us a talk a little bit about Bitcoin and Solana. And speaking of Solana, the Ladies of Solana, that's right, Pixie is going to be with us here today in the Ladies of Solana program. In fact, I got to send her a link. To talk about Ladies of Sol, Ice Raid, and just what's going on, and to help with the co-hosting today. I just need to send her that link. There we go. All right, she's going to join us here in a minute. Oh, I think she has joined us. Pixie, you're on mute. Hold on, I need to do one thing to make your link active here. You should hear me. All right, Pixie, your microphone is not on yet. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second here while we bring our guest on. Pixie, Pedro is not on. He's running late today, so I'm going to give you a little co-hosting duty today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, and has just been promoted to guest host, guest co-host, is Pixie from the Ladies on Sol. I'm going to bring her up here. You should be able to hear her voice, ladies and gentlemen. Pixie, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Your voice is going out to the great big world out there. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it today. It's an audio only for Pixie today. I will have. I believe I have her picture up here still from the other day.
I will eventually get a whole setup in our new house with an office and a camera, and I will get away from this MacBook that you hate so much, just so that I can come on your show and have my face on here, which is not always as pretty as that picture, by the way.
Yeah, you know, the picture the picture that is on your Telegram profile It's like half of your face and all that. I had to use AI to expand it, so I don't know if your hair is that long, but AI is giving you some nice long extensions.
My hair is that long, for sure. Yeah, my hair is probably almost to my waist, if not to my waist by now. My sunglasses are not 2 different sizes for each eye, but it's close enough, I guess.
All right, hold on a sec while I... You know, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do...
I also don't have like a concaved forehead on the left side. I was looking at it. I was like, that looks a little strange.
That's all right. The camera here gives my forehead billboard size material here going on. And I swear I still have an 18-year-old hairline. I swear it's just the camera that's doing it.
So my friends pick on me all the time. They say that I don't have a forehead. I have a 5 head. Because you can put 5 fingers on my forehead. And I'm like, I hate every one of you, just so you know.
All right, I'm going to do something to fix your sound here real quick.
No worries,
let's
go for
see, go back. Put you on cable B. All right, you there, Pixie?
I am here.
Whatever, the sound change didn't work. I have a little audio meter that shows when you're talking for guests that don't...
It could be my boom mic on my headset.
No, it's definitely how I route your sound here
okay.
on my end. But for those of you watching and tuning in, thanks for getting started here a little bit late. We got a couple people over on Rumble. Yes, I'm focusing on Pixie again, not just to get clickbaity, but I'm fixing her audio visualizer thing. Let's see. Oh, and of course it's not working. Oh, I got to give it a second here. So thanks everybody on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter that is watching our show here. Cable A, now it should work. Pixie, give me an audio check here.
Check, check.
Yeah, that's not working. All right, I'm not going to worry about that now. Oh, there it goes. Hey.
Oh, Jesus. That's a lot of red candles. We don't like that.
Hey, good point. Good point. Let's see if we can do the old make them green candles when you talk here.
That would be nice.
Let's just taking a second here. Come on, computer. I'm looking forward to that day when I too can go to the computer store and get a new microcomputer, a new desktop. All right, so here it is. Let's go. Be a lot better.
Those sunglasses are still creeping me out a little bit.
I changed the color and it didn't update it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the technical problems that I have on a normal day. I've been without them, and they've transferred over to Pedro for a little while. But Pedro is not here as of yet. So that means what? The technical problems have come back to me. And you get Miss Pixie here. Let's see, I changed the color. Why didn't it change?
Did you give me an arm, too?
Yes, I did give you an arm.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I just looked back at the picture, and I was like, that is not my arm.
There. Now it should be green. And I had a selection. The Photoshop gives you a selection of like 3 different arms.
Oh, yeah?
And I chose one, and I'm like, oh no woman's gonna ever accept that. And so I had to go back and change it.
That is too funny.
All right.
I mean, it's close. It's close. It's not terrible. I'll take it.
There we go. There are the green candles. And
I feel like I should send you the whole picture, though, just for reference.
Let's see. Pedro Garcia pipes in from the outside saying, "Hey, I'm coming a little late." Yes, I get that, Pedro. I do know that. That's all right. Our window, the window is here for you, Pedro.
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
Oh, yes, I can, Pedro.
All right, I'm coming on here right now.
All right, it's all right. Your mic is hot right now because it's sharing a feed with Pixie, who's here also.
What's up, Pix? How you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you as well. What brings you here to the DYOR network?
Striking is what brings me here. I am the community manager for Ice Raid. I also have 2 of my own projects that are active, and one of them is Ladies on Sol, which is a big deal to me because it's a rewards token that gives back to charities, women's charities and animal rescue charities, which are 2 things that completely have my heart because most women have trauma in their past. So I want to give back to those charities. And then animal rescues, I have 5 dogs myself. So 3 of them are rescues. One of them is 16. I've had him since he was 5 weeks old. He's not a rescue. He's just a pain in the butt. And then I have a 3-year-old Belgian Malinois that's trained in protection.
Oh, wow.
Those are my only 2 that are not rescues.
The Mal, right, is like legit. Like those things. Didn't they used to hunt lions or something like that?
Well, they're canine police dogs. I don't know what they used to do, but right now, I just want you to know that she's sleeping on her back with 4 feet in the air and her mouth open.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, just like Pedro was doing a few minutes ago.
Nah, dude, I was actually talking about ancient ziggurats and all this craziness to a friend of mine. And then I was like, oh, snap, I'm late.
Oh,
and I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Too funny.
That
Pedro,
is.
I feel like we have the same length of hair.
Maybe. I need to cut it. It's like I need to cut it back up to about here.
You can't have the Lord Farquaad haircut. You have to get a little longer than that. You can't do the Lord Farquaad.
It's hot. The problem is this is a year. It's like a 1.5 year growth. So like, if I don't cut it, and I'm cheap, man. I'm so cheap. I can't handle spending money like, with $70 to get my hair cut. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay this.
Do you want to know how I cut my hair?
What's up?
I'm a female. Okay. I go in the bathroom and I flip my hair over and brush it down, right? Yeah. So I'm flipped over, leaned over, I brush it down, and then I cut it with trauma shears. Oh my goodness. Because I am a trauma nurse.
Trauma shears. Wait, I guess it would, because there's a certain fine, because I used to be, I went to school to actually
Here
do
come
hair.
The stories.
And I know the shears are cut differently. They have a different type of cut, whereas normal scissors, they'll actually split the end of the hair and actually make it, fray out.
Yeah.
Do trauma shears, are they cut like cutting shears?
I don't know the difference, honestly. I know that they will cut through metal and clothing and hair. And
anything that's on your body that needs to come off on the table, right?
Absolutely.
Do you get frayed? Do you get split ends?
No.
Okay, then they must be.
One of my friends is a hairdresser, and when she found out that that's what I was doing to cut my own hair, she almost had a coronary.
Yeah.
And she was like, "How does it look that good?" I was like, "I have no idea. I just flip it over, brush it, and cut a straight line." That's it.
A couple of days I'm going to be seeing my mom, and she's probably going to cut my hair. And she does. Her problem is that she kind of learned to cut my dad's hair during COVID. But since then, my mom's vision has kind of gone to hell. She can't see close up anymore. So she's
the good thing is you're a guy, so if you need to just buzz your head, you can, and you can get away with it.
Side note, bro, did you see CL hit my target down at 55?
CL crude oil. You were talking about crude oil yesterday on the show going down. I didn't think it was going to go down that fast, Pedro.
I told you, like I said, dude, look at this, bro. We literally called this when it was at 79, and it was also this one as it was coming up. Once it broke this 8 period, I said there's nothing to stop it until we get down to here. And at that level, remember we started seeing the consolidation of Bitcoin. And then I said, dude, if Trump gets involved, or if Trump gets becomes president, he's going to want crude oil down around 55 to 45.
Right.
And we talked about this, like, and almost some, go ahead. And dude, I am like, I'm just so excited, dude. Like, people do not understand the glorious that is going to come back to America. People have
America.
It's just gonna be nuts, dude. Like, anyways, I'm sorry.
All is good, Pedro. All is good.
I'm a bit ADD. I just totally cut you off, Lexi.
Pixie?
Pixie, but it's okay.
Pixie, sorry. Why did I say?
No, I love learning this stuff with you guys. I am not very good at market statistics or conditions. So when you guys go into all of the technical side, like, I am all ears. I just soak it all up. I'm a sponge.
Dude,
so I love it.
Excellent.
I totally got jacked up again. I went on Goldstein's thing with Nobu, and dude, I was telling him, look, we're coming down to 30,000, and they were like, "Get out of here!" And then
nobody likes the bear.
Yeah, Laney. I think the guy's name's Laney. He's like, "Who's this guy? He doesn't even know shit." It was like, and he was actually polite about it, but And then, dude, what made me mad was what was his name? Paid XPO.
Yep.
And the other guy, what was his name? Also, the
Jared?
not the
Mar?
Yeah, Mar. And he's Cuban. That's what it is, Cuban. It's Latin people. We don't like each other. Anyways, dude, they didn't even stick up for me, dude. And I hit him up private. I said, dude, why didn't you have my back, dog? Why didn't you say, hey, this man's called a lot of the markets? And they're like, what are you talking about, man? And I was like, whatever. So I basically got kicked off stage. But when we see BTC come down to that 30 mark, I'm gonna come on the show and go, I tried to tell y'all. If they let me up. But I am absolutely going to harass them once we do it, once it gets down to that point.
Pixie, just a minute. I'm trying to fix something with your audio again, so just so you know that you are off stage just for a second here.
I've had like 4 donuts. I can feel like, when you eat a bunch of sugar and you're like, Rah! Or like, you have a like a grande or the large what do you call that? At Starbucks when you get the venti, the venti caramel frappuccino with extra.
I don't even want to know.
You want to do extra chocolate, extra caramel. Dude, it is so good. But you're like, literally, it's like, I think it's 200 grams of sugar. Just when I get it. Yeah, diabetes status. I'm like, yeah! Like, I'm literally like, let's go! Anyways, I say that because I just had 3, as I was talking to my friend, or yesterday, my friend came over, and he brought over a bunch of donuts because he stopped off of work and he was like falling asleep. He needed some sugar coming in.
Wow.
Do you want these? I said, yeah, why not? Well, freaking, I probably should have said no because I'm just like, yeah, dude, let's go, dog. Just had it like a few minutes ago.
Pedro, I was a slightly different problem. I went to the old Mrs. Striking's in Canada, and we're going down to Florida, so I'm not going to the store buying a lot of food. I think we've talked about this before.
Routine, dude.
And so I went down to the Mexican joint down the street that I like going to. Usually I just get you get the 3 taco package. It's great. Onion, cilantro, 2 meats, and 1 chicken. Good stuff. And a margarita. Last night I was hungry, so I got the enchilada.
Oh, no, dog.
Oh, paying for it this morning. I woke up, I'm like, Mom, my time seems to be off today, or is it late? I don't know. Nope. Miss Pixie, sorry to gross you out there, but can you give me an audio check? I do not hear Miss Pixie, unfortunately, now.
I hear her. She sounds cool.
All right, whatever I did, I screwed it up. Here, let me fix it.
All right, while you're fixing that, I'm gonna run real quick because I need to flip some water bottles because we talk so much.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna be busy for a minute here. Why don't you hit us up with some BTC action here?
Alrighty, here. So, are we live right now?
We've been live.
Oh snap! Dang, I shouldn't have said that. All right. Well, you know what? Those guys are cool, but they don't like hearing bearish news, and I get it. I get it. I personally like hearing stuff that I don't like because it legitly just teaches me, right? And so if I hear something that I don't like, I'm like, ooh, I just found something inside of me that is hurting me. That means I need some work, right? Legit. And so I got to parse that out saying, all right, what part of my ego, what part of my sin nature needs to die? But other people, they don't like hearing that, especially when it comes to anything financially. People have a hard time hearing another view.
Well, you remember, Pedro, most of those spaces, the people spend half the time talking moon. When our bags are full, we're going to do this, and we're going to plans for this and do that. And when we moon, and we're going up the cycles and the time, all the same moon stuff you hear all the time. They don't, and then when the person comes in that says, "Hey, the liquidity's down here at 68,000 right now, so we're going to go there first, and then we can go lower," people are like, but we just spent the past 2 weeks talking about the moon. So so. Yeah. You're the one that talks psychology all the time. You should know that that's what's going on there.
I know.
Groupthink.
I know. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I also brought Shogun up, and when I brought Shogun up,
just went on mute. You've muted yourself, Pedro. Pedro, your desktop has dropped again. Pedro, your desktop dropped again. Pedro, you've been talking now for a while. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me while I
knowledge with it.
Right. There you are. You're back. Pedro, your desktop had dropped there for about the past 60 seconds. And along with that, your voice.
Oh, wow. Oh, you heard me? Did you hear it?
The last 60 seconds, we didn't hear you because your desktop dropped.
All right. So what about now? What did I leave off on?
You said I brought Shogun to, and then that was it.
Oh, I brought up Shogun on the show. Or on the, I don't want to call it the show, but the call on the spaces, and those guys flipped out on me, dog. And I was like, bro, what's up? I was like, and they're like, we're going to kick this guy off. And I said, well, how is it that there's these little gangs, bro, or these little cliques that just literally reminds me of high school? And I just was like, but we all are can't we all just get along?
No,
right?
We've known this, that crypto is very cliquish for a while here. And I'm sorry, Pixie, for nuking you out of the conversation here. I know Pedro can hear you, but I can't, and the studio can't. Oh, I see what the problem is here. Go back.
Yay, Tom. Well, while you're fixing that, let me go over Bitcoin here real quick, and then we'll jump right back into stuff. By the way, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are from. I'm jumping back to my original way of communicating, basically saying, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button to your preferred or even your non-preferred social media platform. Send it over to the Zuck. Send it over to the Musk. If you really want to get crazy with it, you can even share it from Rumble and send it to the Zuck and or Musk. All righty. Also, shout out to our guys over on Rumble. Thanks for watching us today. You guys rock the mic like Rama Lama Lama da Ding da Dang Dong. This guy. Who's this guy?
I just don't know what the hell you just said there.
Oh, also to our people over on YouTube, did we do all the like congratulatory stuff already or no?
I have not.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. Really appreciate you. I notice here that we've got, what is up with that? Give me 1 second. Can you hear the person talking in the background?
Yes. Barely.
Okay, let me change that up here real quick. Boom. Oh.
Whatever that was didn't work.
So this is the other thing. What is up with the stuff? I don't understand.
I don't understand. Pixie, are you there again? Can I hear you?
There we go. We got Mike.
I am here.
All right, now I got Pixie
On
back.
DYOR. We got 3 people watching us. Glad to have everyone.
Oh, Pedro. Now Pedro died. He's been having trouble with his desktop. His desktop died. And he's not, you can see he's talking, he's moving his hands and all. Oh, now it came back again. Pedro, your desktop and sound just dropped again.
My sound just dropped again?
Yeah, the last 30 seconds of whatever you're saying dropped.
Oh, wow, man. Okay. So what I was saying is I'm glad to have every one of you guys here. You guys rock the mic like Rama Lama Lama a ding da dang dong, which comes from, if you guys don't realize, Greece, where it says we go together like Shama Lama Lama blah blah blah. Exactly. So glad to have every one of you guys watching us. We got Mikester over on Rumble. If you could do us a quick favor, hit that thumbs up. Let's get Miss Pixie out there to the rest of the world because she rocks the mic, and we want to get a lot of heads to come and view her and her projects that she has going on.
I feel like I'm so spread thin.
BTC here.
Well, you do have a lot going on there. We'll of course talk about all of those in just a minute here.
For sure.
Shout out. What's up, Mikester? Miss Pixie, tell us, what is your favorite project as of right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm here. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Pedro, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Pedro can't hear me, though. That's what he just said.
Yeah, I can't hear her, though. I can hear you, but I can't hear her.
Have you been able to hear her before, Pedro?
I have.
I don't know why. You're on the same system as her. You should hear her directly.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello from the other side.
I was about to start singing that, but I didn't feel like anybody would really want to hear it.
Let's go on.
All right, Pedro. I'll see. Let me refresh this page here and see what happens here when I do that. I don't know what.
I feel like I am the problem every time I come on.
Yeah, that could be the issue. Pedro, can you hear Pixie now?
Is she talking?
I am now.
I can't hear her. I'm sorry.
I don't know. That's so weird.
Maybe let me leave and then I'll come back.
All right, you do that, Pedro. Very, very odd things going on here. Not only that, but if I take the pricing off here and show Miss Pixie's box, you see that she's overlaid Pedro now. Oh no, I have a feeling.
Maybe I need to leave and come back.
Oh, I think you're fine. Why don't you try that too?
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, Pedro.
I did not hear.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Same. Like
All right, Pedro, I don't know what's going on here, but let's just get going with the Bitcoin here.
Okay. So Bitcoin here, you can see we basically are continuing downward. We did the little pullback on the 8. We talked about we went up yesterday to hit the 8-period moving average to sell off. We're still playing off of this zone right here. And so as long as we don't really get above the 8 and the 20 with good volume, we'll probably continue down. We're watching still a lot of the stuff going on with the tariff wars. 2025 tariff wars, which is kind of crazy when you think about that.
Trump's tariffs and trade deficits.
Yeah, trade deficits and...
You just muted yourself again. Oh, he dropped. All right, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? If Pixie's having trouble and I'm having trouble, that probably means, and Pedro's having trouble, that means they're probably not live anymore. Are we live? Mikester's there. Okay. Oh, what technical difficulties we weave, says Mikester.
Yeah, gold. Yeah, it definitely pulled back, man. And then shot up from the 50-period moving average. So we're going to talk about that too as well with gold. Continuing up from where we saw it. So pretty interesting that it bounced off of pretty much on my... Oh, I see. Oh, that's really interesting.
All right, we should have Miss Pixie back here. Oh, but Miss Pixie is now self-muted. Here we go.
There we go. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we were back. Everyone's got their sounds back.
Yeah, if you could do us a quick favor, take off the Bitcoin sign there so you can see Miss Pixie.
Yeah, I was just working on that while she was off. Patrick Stefanik, welcome. Thank you for coming to us all the way from Vancouver, Kanukistan. Thank you very much.
What's up, Patty? Good to see you.
Mikester with gold at 3,090, staying up there near its highs.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking at it right now. We definitely came in. It's interesting is that we came in with so much volume, but I said, guys, look, we're not really putting in some really big supply wicks here, right? Like comparative to the bodies, the wicks here, I really didn't trust these, right? And so I said, expect a rebound and to see it to go back up here. And so you can see here, I said we had two places that could happen. We could see around here on the 50 period, but also down at this level, again, come back, retest those lows here of the 28 area and then shoot back up. And so our goal here is again to see the 3,300 on gold here as we start to move forward. Things are not slowing down on the tariff side, so it's like I was bringing up here real quick. By looking at the Nasdaq, you can see there this green day isn't really a big green day here. So you can see we bounced off of it, came back up. And so it's kind of chilling here. I was hoping for a little bit more volume on this day. The day's still not ended, but the majority of the volume has already surpassed, unless there's going to be new data that comes out. Basically, Trump saying, now we're going to go to $200 or 200% tariffs with China, right? It's kind of crazy. We're nearing 100% tariff. And this idea behind it is that a lot of the countries in the world are kind of coming along, which has kind of been shocking. I didn't think it would be that quick. I hope that Trump is amicable with them. And
well, there's like we said yesterday, you can track cargo ships just like you can track airplanes. And there's a lot of boats on the water on their way here with a lot of millions and billions of dollars worth of goods that are suddenly subject to tax and will essentially get over here to the U.S. and be priced out of the market. So every country that has, a lot of commerce on the way over here is on the phone to Senor Trump saying, hey, we need to get this settled here, but I don't want this, $100 million in goods being worthless now. And so there's an urgency to do it on their part, but not with China. Trump's like, you got to come to the table, and China's they've got that mentality of having to save face. and they don't do diplomacy in the open. This is not the way the Chinese do things. And so you're not seeing a deal with them, where other people are like, even the Israel's right, just doing diplomacy on Twitter. Sure, we'll lower our tariffs, no problem. Boop. Anyway, welcome baby Draco to the house, otherwise known as Jesus from Sucker Free City.
What up, Sucker Free City, San Francisco? What up? What up?
Because the world needs us to spend as well. Yeah, it does. The economy's the massive U.S. economy is primarily built on consumerism, on the buying side.
Yeah. And what's really interesting, I was listening to Japan and how Japan was saying, which we've talked about, is our biggest part of our GDP is the service side. And Japan was simply saying, dude, your service side is huge. And the manufacturing side is on our side, but you import a lot of goods into our country through service mechanisms that you bring over. So like what you're saying isn't correct. And so to watch that actually happen, and which we've talked about on here, is the service side of things, which has been really interesting on a global macro sense. I was literally thinking to myself, like, if we had to pick one over the other, like whether manufacturing or service, and our economy had to switch, what would we want to pick? Are we going to pick basically sweatshops, right? Or are we going to pick a service? If we had to pick one, obviously it's never just 100% one way or the other.
Dave Chappelle summed it up in 2017 pretty succinctly, and when Trump first talked about this. And admittedly, it was a different era. Trump had bad political skills then. He wasn't the man he is now for that.
Yeah.
But Chappelle said, look, this guy's crazy. I want to wear Nikes. I don't want to make them.
Yeah.
He said, is it the iPhones? He said, don't bring that shit over here. I don't want no $9,000 iPhone.
Yeah.
So there's obviously this is not a either or. This is not a guns or butter situation here, as the old economics class teaches. The concept is that you kind of have to figure it out, because you need to know what the world situation is. Is the world situation moving towards somebody likely going to war? Right now, the answer to that is yes. So we need manufacturing. If it's utopia, if it's just like Star Trek and everyone's just one world government and everything's fine, and everyone's just like, ooh, flowers and dandelions, then that's a different story. Then you can say, let's do more service and not worry about the key sectors, because anyone in the world can do that, and we can buy it from the cheapest place possible. So there's a political term here I'm not catching here, but it's you have to figure out the political way of your country. Are you going to be strong and be during a war? Are you going to be autonomous? Are you going to be able to do everything you need to do and build everything you need to do? Between you and your likely allies, I'll count Kanukistan in that. Or are you going to have to rely on, like a good example is the U.S. couldn't get enough titanium during the Cold War with the Soviets. So they set up all kinds of friend companies in Eastern Europe to buy enough titanium to build the SR-71 and the U-2 spy planes. And so the things that we used to spy on Russia, we tricked them into selling us the material to build them. We're not going to be able to do that. So we got to focus on manufacturing. If there's going to be war, we have to focus on service, because we get amazing output from our service industries, and we come up with new service industries day to day, that type of stuff. So I can see the comment machine starting to work here. Interesting to see what's going on here. It's baby really, Draco.
Well, what's interesting is this, and even just I was listening to somebody, because I was really curious. I was like, why did he tax the penguins? That was the silliest thing in the world, right? I was like, and it was legit. I was like, oh, you really did do that. And then, I was like, it was yesterday. I was combing through. I was trying to look. I asked Grok, why would Trump do that? And it talked about how countries actually would circumvent the tariffs by moving their whole entire operation to third-party like islands.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, and then I go, that's what Tom was talking about. And
sometimes the boat doesn't even need to go there, and just paperwork. And other times the boat drives there and docks, and then leaves, and suddenly it's a product of this place with low tariffs. So you have to tax the penguins because there's a dock and a little outpost, and it's a protectorate of a country that has low tariffs. So then you're like, well, we can't do that. You can't. And the Canadians are famous for doing that. China ships so much stuff. Go ahead, Pixie.
I don't know how much truth there is, but I did see where Apple loaded up some airplanes with iPhones and moved them to India because India has lower tariffs than where the iPhones originally were. I don't know how much truth there is to that. It's probably all just...
Well, you know what? There's probably some truth to it, but also you have to balance that with the fact that they're also trying to they're building a new iPhone plant in India. So it's also possible that someone said, hey, you can see the shipment, you can see the international manifests on a lot of computer systems of what's being in air freight. And it's possible they're sending a bunch there for use at the factory there. Like, hey, here's the ones that came from China. Let's duplicate these things. There's always a side to this or that. But the international I've done international shipping and trade my whole life in the automotive industry. And there's all kinds of tricks in just the automotive industry. So I can imagine in the agriculture industry, there's all types of tricks. In the mattress making, oh yeah, that was an example I read. A Chinese factory makes like 2/3 of the mattresses in Asia, and a whole bunch of them that they send to the US. And then the last time they got taxed, he just started shipping them through Vietnam. And then Vietnam sent them to Canada, and Canada sent them to the US. The price went up just a little bit, but they essentially had the same tax they were working on before. And the Canadians look the other way because they get the trade out of that, and they also have a heavy Chinese influence going on there. So that's a problem. We're trying to root that out. Pedro, looks like you're... oh, no, you're all good. You're just switching your thing. Yeah. Miss Pixie, though, you know what I'm interested in? You're in a different part of the country. I mean, Pedro's in the Northeast. He has watched the manufacturing leave the Northeast for various reasons that we can go have our own talks about for a long time. But one of the things that we don't talk about much is the South, because I am either in Chicago or in Canada, and he's in the Northeast. I don't know where you live, but I know you live in Georgia. Or you've mentioned that on the air, so I won't get more specific than that.
That's okay. I run a VPN and have a protection dog. I'm not afraid.
Okay. But in Georgia has taken a lot of the manufacturing jobs from the northern states because of lower chances of being unionized, this type of stuff. The whole talk about bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. for Pedro, where manufacturing is completely left, is like very interesting. What is it like in the South? Is it like, man, we got plenty of car plants and stuff going on down here. It's not really that big of a deal, or are people like, let's do it? What's the local feel in the market down there?
It's almost like we're getting kind of tired of it because the housing market down here sucks. You can't buy a house because all of these people are moving to the South because all of these jobs are coming. And I get it. It's great that, the jobs are there for people. But all of these plants, like on every corner, we have 2 more that are being built on the exit that I live on. And they're just huge, and they're taking all of the land, and then they're building these housing areas. They're building a lot of apartments.
Apartments and houses.
Right. And they are, like, rental companies are coming in and buying up all of the real estate.
BlackRock.
So you can't even, like, buy a house. And I've been through this so many times in the past couple of weeks because my husband and I have been looking for property for my sanctuary. my animal sanctuary that is in the works.
Right.
We can't find anything because rental companies are buying up the land and building up these crackerjack homes that are just going to be rentals, not actual like single family homes. And it's all because the manufacturing is just booming down here.
Well, that's
and not just manufacturing, we also have like I think it's Trilith Studios, where a lot of Hollywood movies are being made down here as well because of tax reasons.
Right.
And
yeah, because California is so expensive now when it comes to taxes. That's why.
yeah, it's getting out of hand, and crime is going up because we have all these little hoodlums out here now. It's just not a good situation. Like, send some of these people to like Kentucky, like build some plants up there, something. Like, give Georgia a break. We're full. Go back.
Well, that's an interesting take, and I can see the difference. By the way, the crime problem, of course, is related to the city centers, and then people. And Pedro and I have talked about this for a long time. The lack of prosecution as the city mayors turned very progressive and liberal. They stopped prosecuting people. Here in Chicago is an effing disaster, absolute 100% disaster, and a whole bunch of people are dead because of it.
And the metro areas are getting bigger, right? Because when you fill up one area, it's going to move out. So the metro areas are going into the suburbs. And
Yep.
the crime is going with it.
Welcome, Big Mac, to the show. Ladies on Sol, let's go. Big Mac here. Hi, Pixie, he says.
Hello, Big Mac. Ooh, now I want McDonald's. I appreciate that, Mr. Sir.
I had that yesterday for the first time since Canada. I was last in Canada or whatever, and I loved every second. I got hamburgers, French fries, and a small chocolate shake.
I only eat the chicken nuggets.
And then I had the Mexican enchilada bomb last night. Let's just say yesterday was not a healthy day for striking.
Doesn't sound like it. My husband and I went to Mexican last week, and I had chicken and veggie fajitas. I had never had that before, and I actually combined two different types of fajitas because I wanted vegetables, but I wanted chicken too. And it was amazing. So if you ever get the chance, give that a shot. It's like vegetarian fajitas, add chicken. Really good. Lots of cheese. The waitress was looking at me like, I have never had somebody order vegetarian fajitas and add chicken.
Add the chickens.
I was like, you're welcome.
Eat more chicken.
That's right. We do that out here in the South.
Pedro,
too.
you're on mute, just so you know. Again, but I just to get the pricing up there to understand where Bitcoin is and other things you talk about, I moved Miss Pixie up next to you. So if you could just, when you're doing your church, be cognizant of that.
Absolutely. Okay. So you can see here real quick as we're looking at BTC. I want to bring up gold here so you guys can also see what's going on here. So gold here is blowing through supply and going through moving averages here really easily. And it's just kind of eating through this. So just to give you an update, what we were talking about, I think today it might be an expansive day today. And so it's still got a few more. What time is it? It's got about an hour before. Actually, I think it's already closed. So this idea of it potentially, it's going to keep going here. But I think we might get past the highs if this thing keeps happening. If you can see here that we've had an abnormal amount of buyers coming in. And so as we're going up here, you can see here that the buyers are dropping off a little as we're moving up. So just be careful. Like I said, I do think we're going to continue up in the long term here over the next 4 or 5 days, but I just don't want you to be like, oh, we're going long right now and then get hurt. So just be mindful that we're seeing the buyers kind of die down here. And so it might just pull back here on gold. And let's check out PAX G. Boom, right here, perpetual contract. This actually follows gold as well.
Jesus is into this, and he keeps asking about it.
Yeah, yep. That's why I'm pulling it up. So boom, check out Pax contract. You can see that it's been pulled back just a little here. Ah, look, I didn't even realize that. We are pulling back. So yeah, right here. Yeah, we're seeing it right now. I didn't even look at gold here on my TradFi stuff. So I was looking at that and I was like, I always forget that on the short time frame, you don't get the only Pax. That's why I like Pax, dude. Like, you don't have to have the current, it trades off of the blockchain, so it's dope. But like, yeah, expected to kind of pull back down. There's a level here that I like, the 930 level here. Most likely we'll pull back down to that level here and then continue back up, but just be mindful of that.
Patrick says the limits are on. Which markets are we talking about? NASDAQ and stock exchange limits?
What limits?
Circuit breakers.
Yeah. But which
right, that was my question.
Yeah. Did we break? Because normally they first have a pause in the trading. And S&P 500 is going up or tapping that upper level here.
Well, if the S&P 500 is going up, everything else has to be going up. Unless it's going up big time.
Oh, wait, what's going on? Yeah, it is, dude. There's news. What happened? What's the news? We were supposed to have news today, right, Pat?
I'm looking through my news feed here. My news feed is 15 minutes delayed on this website. I don't know why. He said, check out the NQ and the S&P.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And Jesus says, and ETH's still going down.
Yeah. Pulling it, something's going on.
Pixie, when we refer to the NQ, that is the NASDAQ that people trade. Is it the minis? Is that what it is? Or is it the full contract?
I feel like I should be taking notes. I am learning so much just listening to you guys. I feel like I'm the uneducated opinion because I'm not really big into stocks. I bought Bitcoin when it was $13 per coin. I bought some Ethereum back in 2018. Tried to trade it once. Gas fees were humongous. Never tried that again. And I bought some LTC back in 2018, and then I got into the meme space in November. So I'm not new to crypto, but I'm still learning crypto, and I just love hearing you guys because it's helping me learn all the things.
Well,
yesterday.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The stock, right? Because like my 401k is in stocks, and then I have some CDs and other things, but I don't really pay attention to it like I probably should because the financial world is going to be all electronic eventually. Like, not a lot of places here in the South actually even take cash anymore. You have to have a credit card or debit card. So everything is going to be electronic in some kind of way, and I need to learn it. And I just love hearing you guys talk, and I love learning. So I'm here for it.
Well, the Technical Tuesdays, we go over this stuff in detail. A little too much for a lot of viewers, but it's a great learning lesson in learning how the economy as a whole affects your crypto holdings. And especially what changed in the past, we'll say 12 months, when even more institutions got into the business. Bitcoin used to trade opposite of the stock market. Bad news for stock market, Bitcoin up. Good news for stock market, bad, Bitcoin down. Now they trade lockstep in a ratio. What is it, Pedro? 3-to-1 from the NASDAQ. $1 for NASDAQ, $3 for Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And the companies now arbitrage that spread. So now when Bitcoin sells off or the stock market sells off, Bitcoin sells off, and you're like, no, it should be the opposite. It's been the opposite for years. Nope, the institutions ruined that. Once they bring in the large money and arbitrage and their bad habits, that's what happens.
Well, it's just crypto is filled with novice traders who go long when the market's moving up, and it's an endless supply of liquidity for them. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to show people, how the traditional markets work versus how crypto works. For a long time, crypto has traded very technical. That's like, through RSI, through a lot of these other mechanisms. And now that the institutions are coming in, it may trade like that 50% of the time versus they say 75 or 80% of the time. And what happens is the reason when they drop down that 50% is literally because tariff to China is not 125. Tariff, wait, what is that, Mikester? Yeah, is not 125. Oh, it's now. Holy shit.
So I saw that China lashed back at the US with 84% tariffs. And then Trump is basically like, okay, I'll see your 84 and raise you. Like, they're basically playing poker.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in a recession.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this nutsness is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it a little bit, because then the housing market might go down a little bit. Maybe those damn rental companies will stop buying up all the properties, and your girl Pixie can buy one.
Once again,
That's all I want to do.
I can't reinforce this enough. The housing prices are local issues only. They're really not affected by anything now. You got to go to your city councilman and say, building permits need to be approved within 30 days. And we got to ease the zoning laws so you can build denser housing. Anyway, you see what Bitcoin just did? It just popped to 81,000, and it split Miss Pixie in half here on the chart that I have on the screen.
I'm okay with it. It can take me all the way in half. Keep going up. I hold some Bitcoin. Please go back up.
And I was watching the market earlier, and
but here's the thing. This is opposite of what it should be doing. You don't understand. We were talking about the craziness of what's going on. This is a sucker play. This is a rope-a-dope. This isn't.
But do you know how much money had to go just to buy Bitcoin to move it that much? I mean, a lot of billions of dollars had to do that. So unless it's one major exchange,
what's going on?
Doing it, and buying, like lots of it, where Michael Saylor just sold his whole company and just bought it. I mean, that's a big move in that short a time.
I don't disagree. Absolutely. But that's not. It's not set up the right. It's not. Okay, demand wick. Yes. Give me a second. It's just at the top of the hour. What's going on? 15, 13,
no,
15.
It's the bottom of the hour.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna get in the market earlier too. I was like, but I was hesitant. I was like, and then I had the show prep coming up, so I didn't. Trump to pause reciprocal tariffs for 90 days. Now your comments are making sense, Mikester.
Okay, there we go. He's gonna pause it. Now you have the reprieve of the push up.
Yeah, and see, that goes exactly what I was telling you about by all that stuff that's on the water coming over here. Suddenly priced and sold to clients or to intermediaries or whatever, and basically they probably wouldn't even unload it. They'd just be like, throw this shit away. And so that's a big problem. So they're probably gonna have to come back and say, all right, starting on this date, so they can ship as much as they can in and not have things stranded on the water.
We're coming right up into a supply area. I don't trust this. This is the.
Oh, this will dump. Oh, Pedro, sure as shit, this will dump right here.
Yeah, if you look at your 5 minute, Patty, look at the 5 minute on the ES. Like, look, you have no demand wicks as we're moving up, except at the base.
Okay, explain that to me like I'm stupid.
You're
What
brilliant.
a demand wick.
You are brilliant. And you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let me explain this real quick. All right. So you can see here when a market goes up, okay, you have the body of the candle. Are you familiar with the candle nomenclature?
I think you're about to teach her.
I know. I just need to know.
I'm about to learn.
Okay. So in a candle, that's what these things are kind of set up for.
Right.
You have the start of the candle. This is a 30-minute candle or a 30-minute chart. So each one of these are 30 minutes. Each time frame that you see here is given to you, the time frame is indicative of the time frame of the candle. when the candle opens up, it opens up at every 30 minutes. So you can see it started here.
Because he's on the 30-minute chart.
Yeah, because I'm on the 30-minute chart.
Right.
Then it came down. How do I know it went down? Is because I can see right here that it's going to make sure that you're in the right spot. All right, I'm not blocking it, so you can see it right here. This part right here came down. That's a wick right there. It was red. See, this one's red right here. Because this one right here opened here, went up first, came down and closed right here. So it closed right there. And because on this 30-minute candle, the open or the closing price was lower than the open price, which makes it goes red, because it means that price within this time period fluctuated up to here and then came down to here, and that shows that it is that price closed lower than than the open. I know I'm trying to make this so simple and I'm making it more complicated.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, so the high of this candle here is 77.90 or 77.943. I can see it because to the very right that Tom's head is blocking. Actually, I'll do this right. I'll make it easier.
Oh, I can see your screen at the bottom too. So I can see 3 screens currently.
Oh yeah, she's got the studio view.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know how to change it, so I just left it that way.
All right, perfect then. Okay. So right here, you can see that these are where the prices are on this right side. So this 30-minute candle, okay, started here, came down first, and when it comes down, that means there are sellers coming in to push it down. But what can happen is buyers step back in and start to push up the market. And as they're pushing up the market, that means those buyers have a conviction to continue the market because they're buying at a low price and they want to sell at a high price. So it goes green. So demand wicks are really important for me to let me know that there's conviction in the market from people who want to continue buying. Okay. The top wick is a supply wick or a seller wick. So buyer wick, bottom wick, top wick, supply wick, or seller wick. And so what happens is people were buying up at this level here, pushing it up. Then sellers came in and said, no, we're going to either sell this or short this. We'll talk about shorts later, but just understand that it puts pressure on the market to go down by limiting the supply of something. And it then goes through, pushes it down, and then it closes. And when it closes, if it closes red, it typically means that the sellers are in control. Hence, the next candle continued down. Okay, and then from there, the next one kind of popped up and pushed up. Now, what will happen is institutions need liquidity. They have more clients than there are customers in the market to sell to. And these clients a lot of times want to buy. It's net positive of buyers, okay? So when sellers step in, they're really the ones controlling the market because every time you need a buy and a sell, they have to meet. So if I want to buy something in the market, I need a seller to sell to me. So I literally go, all right, I want to buy this price. It goes, okay, boom, and it meets me. Or if there are lack of sellers in the market, remember what I just said, the market majority of the time is net buyers. So if there's not enough sellers in the market, then the market will gap up.
So that's when you get the green candle?
Exactly.
Because the price is higher?
Exactly.
Look, I feel like I should be a guest host on this show a lot more often because I'm going to ask the stupid questions just to help me make it make sense.
Then we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's also differentiate the difference between traditional markets and crypto markets, not Bitcoin, that work on AMMs, automatic market makers. That's different. It's different because the automatic market maker is the buyer and seller, even if there's no one else. There's no actual like order book. But in Bitcoin and things traded on central exchanges, there's the order book and there's buyers and sellers. And if there's a lot of buyers sitting here and only a few sellers, the buyers just can't just buy it all, and it's because they need people to sell it to. Otherwise, the price gets out of balance, and weird things happen. And as we know, the markets balance themselves out. And so Pedro I remember when Pedro taught me this, and he's like, when all these people want to buy, I was like, yeah, it's where all the buyers are coming in. And he's like, no, it's where all the sellers are coming in, because someone has to sell to them. and once you start realizing that you've been thinking about it backwards for a while, you're like, oh, you're right. So when we show,
I definitely just had a light bulb moment for sure.
Because without the people selling,
without something to be sold, you can't buy anything. So
right.
Yes.
that makes total sense when you put it that way.
And it's different. And Pedro and I started this show coming from the crypto side, even though I worked in the futures markets, ages ago. From the crypto side and the automated market maker side and tokens and things like that. And Pedro came in from the trading on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and contracts that are monthly based and they're matched to orders and things like that. And so for a long time, I didn't get what he was saying.
Well, I just want to make sure I want to add this. I am a computer trader. I was not in the floors.
Right. I mean, you're using the electronic version.
I can imagine you with like a man bun, like on the floor in the New York Stock Exchange, where they're all like yelling and throwing their arms up and stuff. Like
that's what I did.
I would love that. That would be.
I used to do that in the World Trade Centers.
That would be my dream. That would actually.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
It would be one of those things that like.
I did, Patrick. I did. I worked for E.F. Hutton, Prudential Base, and Shearson Lehman in the late 80s and early 90s, and then for a small trading company in the COMEX in New York for the New York Mercantile Exchange, Coffee, Sugar, Cocoa, U.S. Sugar Exchange, the NIFE, the New York Futures Exchange, where we traded the NIFE contract, S&P 500 version, and the U.S. dollar. And that was a long time ago.
Pedro would have such a good time doing that. Dude. He would have a whole party. I can tell.
There was a whole floor of Pedros. There was a whole floor, 2,000 Pedros in one room. You can't even believe it. Dude, bro, dude, buy, sell, buy, 20 hit.
When I get around a bunch of real traders, bro, we are like she's like, dude, it's like we're war veterans, bro. Like, it's like, man, did you see? Oh, the market is, I just got wrecked. I went long and and whatever it is. But it's like, it's funny is I've gone to a few trading like classes and stuff like that, and half of us have ADD, right? So it's just like, what squirrel? But once you turn on the screen, and we're looking at the chart, it's like focused. You're just like, it's crazy. It's funny because typically most traders are very crude, right? Like you don't care. Like you just don't care. That's the best way of saying it. You just don't care about just like social norms, because your brain looks at it from like a psychology standpoint. And so sometimes you'll just throw in a bomb just to see what happens. Or like, this is the way it is. All right, boom. And so when you got 30 or 40 people like that in a freaking room, and everybody's just like, well, this has caused some chaos. Boom. Like, what? And the thing is and we're all analyzing.
You see what you got started here, Pixie? He's going.
Oh, no, I love it because I am ADHD to the max, right? So instead of throwing bombs at a chart, like I'll do that mess in real life just to see
what I'm trying to say.
Like to see what kind of chaos I can start, and then I'm going to analyze it while it's happening so that I know what size of bomb to throw next time. Yeah. And I love doing that in real life. So knowing that that's what you guys do in the charts, dude, I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it's really because here's the thing: when you're running out of sellers. So let me explain the etymology of this. So if I'm seeing a market go up, okay, and I'm not seeing a lot of demand wicks, right? Like we shot up here, like you see, not really a lot of demand wicks here as we're moving up on this 5 minute. Then we came back down. Good demand wick here where they established orders, boom, right? So it's like it shoots down. So they're selling it and then somebody buys it back, boom. Same thing here, boom, sells off, buys it back, finds support on the 8-period moving average. But as it's topping, I'm like, I want to see it slow down. One, if it explodes way up, it's like somebody it's like either a guy who's super emotional or a female who's really super emotional, and they go really high up with their energy, right? Well, what's going to happen next? You're going to crash, right? It's just, you can't keep that energy up. So it's like the same idea when it comes into the market that I want to see, if I start to see it explode like this, to me, now again, I don't like, now this volume is different. As that happens, there we go.
Is that a toothbrush on your desk?
Yes, it is.
I love that.
Got my glasses. I got my other stuff here, and
you are ready.
You should see the crap
sit there forever if you need to.
Yeah, I got my my special glasses here, my Ray Charles glasses.
Those are your stunner shades. I feel like you should wear those. Since
blue blockers.
Yeah, these are the blue blockers, and I got these because I think what I love about them is they actually train my eyes and strengthen my eyes. Here, I want to show you. This is so dope. All right, look. If you look at these.
Too close.
Too close.
Put your hand behind it like you're a makeup influencer. There you go.
Oh, there you go. To see, that's why. Do you see how there's little holes in these?
Yeah.
All right. Those
very
holes. It's all black, right? But when I put them on, because there's little holes, your brain has to work really hard to literally go through and create an image throughout all those broken up holes. And so when it does that, your eyes really have to get engaged and work. So it strengthens the optical muscles in the back of the
We're adding,
they call that the retinal, right? No, the retinal's up
and your
front.
retinas.
No, yeah, your retinal. I forget the
and your
exact
optic
name.
nerves.
Yeah, it has to. Well, the optic nerve has to work, and then it engages the muscles to actually put together a semblance of a real picture, because it's all black.
I think Tom might be dying.
No, okay? we have this running thing where Pedro blows words because his mind moves faster than his mouth, and so he can't get the right word out. It's like having a sports car with a giant engine in it, but little skinny tires. It just doesn't go anywhere. So I get going when he starts blowing words. It's just we got a whole list of them.
Charades or Pictionary or something. So it's like he's going with a word and you're like trying to guess it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's your recti muscles.
All right, let's get this show moving on to the next list. And Patrick, to answer your question, I worked at the World Trade Centers in New York before they got blown up. The first time. I left right before they got blown up the first time, which was in 1993. Many people forget that the World Trade Centers also got blown up then. The funny thing is that I left the industry during a recession. They basically fired everyone under the age of 26. And then right after I left working in the World Trade Centers, the terrorist guys blew up the parking garages underneath, which is like 11 stories down of parking garages. It was a big disaster. And the FBI, the Secret Service, and all the federal agencies that kept their armored vehicles, Cadillacs, things for diplomatic use and all that type of stuff, got blown up in that garage and they got smooched. And then I went to work for a company that my cousin owned that built armored vehicles for the government. It was building the replacements for them. And I was like, hey, I just saw your other ones squished.
Turns out I just saw your other ones blow up.
Yeah,
so maybe I can give you some pointers.
And I used to park on the level. I had a company had good parking pad, not my company, the company I worked for had good parking pad. So I parked on the level where all those cars were. I'd drive into New York instead of taking a train once a week because I'd go up to Connecticut to see my grandfather, and on the weekends. And so I'd park there, and I used to see all those cool Cadillacs and Suburbans and stuff like that. And then I go to work for the company that makes them. It was really strange. Anyway, let's move on with the show, Pedro. Let's get a couple of other things out. I want to quickly talk about the market and what's going on here as it's affecting crypto. Has it helped ETH? Has it helped Solana and stuff? And then I want to move to Pixie talking about her projects that she's involved with and give a little airtime to Ladies on Sol and Ice Raid.
Absolutely.
I feel like I just want to listen to you guys. Like I'm going to sound like a dum-dum compared to Mr. Pedro and his space glasses.
Well, there's a difference between the financial information, or this is not financial information, financial education, and marketing. So we'll get to the marketing here soon.
And I look at the market a little bit different than everybody else. Than most traders in crypto. They use a guy named ICT or Smart Money Concepts Trading, and so I know of his trading style. I understand it. I learned about it as I kind of discovered my own style, and then I use some of his principles as a way to understand the market, the part that I was missing. But like ultimately, it's really one of those things that I just see the market different than everybody else a lot of times.
Because you got different glasses on.
Right. You got holes in your glasses. That's why you see it different. Your recti muscles are working a lot harder than ours.
Rectile. She just say rectile.
I don't know if she said.
They're called recti. The recti muscles.
I love it.
Remember, she's a nurse, so some proper terms may come out. Crypto Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us from the great state of Manitoba. I mean, the province of Manitoba. Thanks for joining us. I did see that you joined us earlier, but I didn't get to you. Thanks for joining us. I don't have a sound effect for you today, but I hope your past few days have been good. Up there, and you haven't gotten any snow like my friends in Ottawa did. All right, so
are good with snow in Georgia. We shut the state down when it snows, just so y'all know. And everybody buys all of the bread and all of the milk. I don't know what they do with it, but there's none in the stores. If you go to the store, all the bread is gone and all the milk is gone.
How about the toilet paper?
I was just saying, here's the toilet paper. I don't even understand.
That's only during COVID. Only during COVID, which was not a gastrointestinal problem, by the way. It was respiratory and had nothing to do with poop or urine.
Right.
But everybody down here went crazy buying toilet paper.
You know, here we call it the cerveza sickness on the show, just for the algorithm usage. But where I live in Ottawa, Ontario, it's right on the border with Quebec, and is beautiful Parliament Hill. It's up on a cliff on the Ontario side. On the Quebec side, there's a nice little downtown, and then the mountains of Gatineau. They're not mountains; they're like foothills. But on the Ontario side, there's no hills. It's just a beautiful area, except this little point out into the river, right across from Parliament. And it's the only factory that was running at 24/7, extra shifts, extra everything during the cerveza sickness time. And it's the toilet paper factory.
I believe that.
And it's right. It's in the best piece of land in the whole country, right across the river from Parliament Hill, and it's a ass wipe factory. In the U.S., we would have been like,
"Where do you work at? The ass factory."
Right. In the U.S., we would have been like, "Oh, they got a toilet paper factory across from this thing with the Lincoln Memorial we want to build. Let's move the toilet paper factory too." Right. Now in Canada, they're like, "Bring it on!"
Absolutely not. Put it right there. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Bitcoin holding up at 81,000 now. I expected an immediate drop back, but it's flagging out there, Pedro. I think I've got the 5 minute up. 5 minute chart. No, that's a 1 minute chart I've got up. I thought it was going to come right back down, but it didn't. It stayed up there. That means good things.
No. This is the hour. So, right. So we want to look at next with the hour, right? So
thanks for joining us, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Brother, you rock the mic. Where are you going, Patty? Where are you going? Where you headed? Why are you leaving us? Okay, bye. Oh, y'all, that ain't cool. Come back over here. Ass white factory laugh loud. Patty is one of the guys that I trade with in the morning, so he's a cool guy. Comes in, he's a crypto. I actually met him through the trading group, but then he's huge into crypto, and I was in crypto, so I was like, dude, you rock, man. And he's like, yeah, you rock the mic too. And I was like, thanks, man. He was like, thank you. And I was like, high five. And I said, did we just become best friends? And he goes, yep. Sorry, no, I was joking. Anyways, okay.
Straight out of Step Brothers, right?
Straight out of Step Brothers. That's exactly. So, and we did. It's interesting because I don't really I don't have a lot of I have people if I was going to call friends right now, because I really don't have a lot of communication with my friends. Personal friends, the older grade, I'm in my 50 or I'm 45, right? I'm gonna say 50, bro.
You've been lying all this time? I mean, you got more gray than me, and I'm 12 years older than you.
I know, Doctor.
So really you are in your 50s. Be getting that senior discount
I don't
soon.
think I've ever heard somebody say, I'm in my 50s. Wait, I'm 45.
Yeah. I act
I don't know if anybody has ever claimed.
Right. No, it's
they're
completely the opposite.
Right. But I mean, you do you, Pedro. We're here for it.
Let's do it. It's the Pedro show, and everybody's a part of it. All right. Yeah, I am not trusting this rally again. It's nice. I'm not saying, but look at the 2 hour, the 4 hour volume. It's this big bump. I don't know about it. We're back in this. We've talked about this being this gray area being, or not gray area, this yellow area being a consolidation area. Same thing with this area down in here, right? The major consolidation of last year, right, was in that 70,000 down to that 50,000 area. And so yeah, that's it. And I think we'll consolidate here and potentially come back down into these lower levels. This is simply just we were running out of buyers for the sellers. So again, remember we talking about the sellers. You can see how there's a plethora of sellers here with the volume. And when you start to see that, then those are the sellers that are absorbing buyers. And in a down market, most people don't want to buy, right? And so they'll cause flips in the market to bring in buyers, and then they will sell to those buyers, the shorts, the sells, and then once they filled up orders, then they'll turn the market back around and drop it, right? Where they bring in a plethora of sell orders that just decimates the market, or to me, just gets the market to rally or drop again. Doesn't really mean that
it takes your money on the upside and takes your money on the downside.
Yeah, so that's why I'm always iffy on it, and I typically look at the hour, 2 hour, 4 hour chart, because of the main thing. So we just opened up in the market here. We're going up, so we most likely will see this end as a red candle here, and the 83,400 period moving average, which correlates with 83,400, which is roughly around, there's a year 200, and you have I would say somewhere around here. This is where it always gets a little hard because stuff is in the middle of the night.
All right, Pedro, while you're figuring it out, I'm gonna take the 30-second commercial break here and talk about our central exchange sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code below me. If you don't currently use a decent central exchange, or if you want to learn about going long and short in the futures markets, come talk to us. Come talk to Pedro and I about that. Our channel is backed by a group called BidFi. BidFi is an international crypto exchange that's allowed to do business in the U.S. even before the Trump administration came in. No KYC is needed at normal trading levels or just to swap from one to the other. KYC is needed once you start becoming a whale type person. And they give you free money. Now, how about that? They give you free 100 USDT when you deposit 100 USDT. And then they give you additional money to trade with, and not just withdraw. You can't just deposit 100 and then take 200 out. We'd have 1 million people signing up for that. They give it that you can trade with, so you can learn how to do this. And Pedro and I talk about going long and going short all the time, including with leverage and without leverage. You literally can short the market and sell something you don't own. And people always say, "Oh, it's so risky. You could lose all your money." No, if you don't use leverage and if you use stop orders, also you can't lose all your money. In fact, Pedro and I were talking about this, and it occurred to me that in all of investing, the one thing that you can control, 100% control, is how much money you have at risk to lose or lose altogether. It's entirely up to you because you can set orders to get you out after you lose so much money. So you can say, on this trade, I can only risk $50. And if the market turns against you and your trade doesn't work, you will only lose $50. And so you can learn to use these central exchanges, ask questions of Pedro and I, and get smarter here. Click this QR code, sign up, tell them Striking and Pedro sent you. The QR code does that for you anyway, but it's a good thing to say in the air. Tell them Striking and Pedro sent you, get your free monies, and then come here and ask questions. They also have, I left the sign up here, demo trading, because they give you a whole pile of free money for demo trading that obviously you can't withdraw. But you can learn to do things without risking your own money. Highly suggest that. I've actually gone back to demo trading. I've been under Pedro's tutelage for a while now, but I haven't been able to focus as much as I want on it. And when I've learned from my personality, when I don't focus on something, I do it poorly. And so I've gone back to demo trading to practice on these things. And so I suggest all of you do that. So BidFi, ladies and gentlemen. BidFi.
BidFi, you can have a demo trading with that account, correct?
Yeah. You have your regular account and then your demo trading account. It's on the same account, just a different menu item. Different wallet, real wallet versus fake wallet. All right, we're back to the show here.
Miss Pixie.
Miss Pixie, tell us about Ladies on Solana. Give us the brief update how that got started.
So it got started on a platform, a launchpad called the Distribute Launchpad, which was created for rewards tokens on Solana, much like the rewards tokens of the ETH and XRP days, right? So it's the same idea, but it's just for Solana instead. And you have to inject your own liquidity, which typically would mean less rugs, right? If you're putting your own money into it, then you're probably not going to rug your own project that you just injected liquidity into. So
just
that's
less
what
likely.
It's all about. Less likely. It has happened. I have seen it happen in real time, but it is less likely. So it's a little bit safer of a platform than, say, the PF one. I won't say the name. I don't know if you guys are allowed to say names or not, and I don't want to get you guys
we just
trouble.
don't. We just try not to say names that YouTube doesn't like.
I gotcha. Okay, so do they like pump fun or not like?
Yeah, no, they don't like things like the cerveza sickness or talking too much politics, which Pedro and I do a lot.
That's probably why we're at such a low number.
Right.
We just kept it going, pump it up. We'd probably be around 1,000 viewers, legit.
But
I legitimately hate that song.
Yeah, over on Rumble, we get more viewers because the algorithm doesn't derate you for what you say.
Ah, that makes sense. So I saw Distribute when it launched because it has a native token, unlike Pump Fun.
Right.
So the Launchpad has its own native token. I saw it not long after launch. I got in it pretty early, and then I became part of the mod team. It was just me and one other guy whose name is Meimu. We were the first mods for Distribute.
What's his name?
His name's Meimu.
Meimu?
Meimu. And he and I were the first, and then it's obviously grown a little bit since. The Launchpad has launched something like 400 projects. Obviously, some of them have failed. Some of them were bad actors from the beginning.
Sure, happens.
And then I saw a project get rugged in real time. And because this guy, who is the developer of the Launchpad, has all of the back-end data, I was able to go in and basically CTO this project and try to help people get their money back.
Oh.
The unfortunate side of that was the original, air quotes, developer of the project, which was Ponzi and Chill, still had a little bit of liquidity that was going to unlock in 60 hours.
Oh.
And we took it from a 4K market cap because this other guy rugged it at like 21K. It wasn't even anything good. He got like literally $200. So I saw that happen, but I saw people that were in there that lost a lot more than he got, and I just didn't feel good about it. So I jumped in there and kind of CTO'd it, and we ran it all the way back up to 100K, which was great. And we did that in like a day. But then this guy who had that little bit of liquidity left in there was going to unlock 21K in liquidity in 60 hours. Oh. And I knew that he was going to dump it. Like, it was going to happen.
Yes.
So we went to the community and I was like, hey, this is what we're looking at. This guy has around 21K in liquidity right now. At this market cap, he is absolutely going to dump it as soon as it unlocks. And it is going to tank this chart again. We can either add more liquidity and try to counter it, which I had already added quite a lot. So I said we can add more liquidity and try to counter it and keep it from tanking the chart, but it's still going to have a large impact. Or we can pool all of our tokens together and rug the rugger.
Right, and sell them and take the liquidity for yourselves. Yep.
Right. So that's exactly what we did. And then we took that and I launched Ladies on Sol and then airdropped people in a 10-to-1 ratio because apparently I can't count zeros. And also this other project had a 10 billion supply.
Yep.
And when I was creating and launching, I launched with a 100 million supply because I am brilliant. And I can't count zeros. And the Launchpad doesn't allow for commas. So
yeah, I know the problem.
I don't know. Like, I needed my commas when I was launching, and I didn't have them. So we airdropped on a 10-to-1 ratio. I say we because the community as a whole was just great. And we made decisions collectively instead of just me making all of the decisions. So we launched. I added liquidity myself. I added more liquidity and more liquidity. And then, the people from this other project, as they do, because crypto is very fast, they get tired of waiting to see anything happen. So we got up to about a 300K market cap. People saw dollar signs and started pulling their bags out, which is fine. Traders are going to trade how they trade. And I'm not going to shame anybody for making money how they make money. That's not my job here. They actually helped me raise almost $5,000 for charities based on their trades because buys, sells, and transfers have a 10% tax. 50% goes to the holders, 50% goes to charities. So 50% of that tax that everybody was taxed went to charity, which is pretty cool. So they traded how they trade. I got to support charities. Super awesome on both parts. We're still in the background. We're still cooking. I'm not going anywhere because I still want to give back to charities. Animal rescue is huge for me. I think that it was $2,500-ish per charity. And I think I can do better than that. And I'm doing it on a monthly basis. So I think I can get better. And I'm going to do it. And then I was brought in with Ice Raid. And then some friends of mine who I had been in a project with before called XBL had to rebrand and relaunch. I was on that dev team also. So they were ready to relaunch. So now I have Gigi's Play Pass also. And I think right now it's at about a 200K market cap, and we launched that 3 days ago. So it's wild out there, man. It is literally like the wild, wild west. Ice Raid is doing its thing. It's kind of slow starting because it's political, right? It's government. You can't make the government do anything fast, ever. And it's still there, still hanging out. I think we're going to do some spaces here soon.
Yep.
And we've been on the Kid and Walt show. I'm going to try to join some other just random spaces and tell people. And I'm not focusing a lot on the immigration portion because that's a hot topic, right? But there's so much more to this app than just immigration. Like there's animal abuse, which Jason added because of me, because he heard me talking about ladies and charitable giving for animal rescues. So he added the animal abuse section on the Ice Raid app. There's obstruction of justice. There's other things like, is homicide one of them? I know there's like 5.
Yeah, murder is one of them. Yeah.
It's not just immigration. Yes, that's the focus on a lot of what's been put out there so far. And yes, that is the name, but it's more than just that. There are other options in there, like anything you see, anything that maybe you don't want to be the quote unquote snitch, because snitches get stitches no matter where you are in the US, right? So you can do it anonymously and get rewarded for it in crypto. And it's more than just immigration. Immigration is such a hot button topic, and I understand that. Here in Georgia, actually, we had a college student murdered recently by someone of illegal status. So obviously that's hitting close to home, and other people are experiencing the same things. People have different views. You're either one way or the other, pretty much. And then, some people just don't care. There's also the option on the app to kind of like self-report. And Nick Spanos, in one of our VCs, you might remember, he offered up his website for that self-reporting because he's got a website already for people to help them get legal status. So it's more than just immigration. And I want people to focus on that versus, oh my gosh, let's deport everybody. It's more than just immigration. We want to help people get legal status,
I've been scrolling through the topics as you've been talking on the screen here.
So kidnapping, burglary, terrorism, and all of these Teslas that are being beat up and set on fire and stuff. You can report your Tesla. That's what I'm trying to point out is it's more than just immigration. I understand the name is what the name is, but it's more than that. It's bigger than that. There's a lot of good things that can come of it. It's obviously politically backed, but it's not a bad thing just because of the immigration.
I've got the map, and it's turning our frame rate to 0 here of things that have been reported here to the Ice Raid Explorer. You can actually go on their Explorer and see what's been reported. It's a heavy application, so I'm actually going to turn it off now so I don't blow up the old computer here.
And I kind of joked that I was going to go to the Home Depot at 6 o'clock in the morning every weekday and just start snapping pictures so that I could get those rewards. I would never do that just because personally that's not something I believe, but it's funny to say it. Sometimes humor is crass, right? Like sometimes we just have dark humor, especially us in the trauma nurses. Cool, buddy. We can give military people a run for their money when it comes to dark humor because we have seen some shit in the trenches. So it's not something that I would do. If anything, I would help them self-report because they're out there working. They actually want to get a job, and so many citizens of America are lazy pieces of crap. So
Yeah.
I would rather help these people get legal status than deport them back to their home country. But that's just my opinion of it.
That's very
And
altruistic of you there, Miss Pixie.
I think it's the trauma nurse in me, honestly. I try to fix, right? I just want to fix everything. I want sunshine and rainbows, damn it. I'm tired of
Unicorn
bullet
farts for
holes
everyone.
I'm tired of bullet holes and impalements. The world is dark when you're at work. I want everything to be sunshine and rainbows outside of work.
You know, it's funny is I had a friend a while ago that went to school. His kid went to school with my son in like the 1st and 2nd grade, and his wife was a captain in the Air Force. And so I was at a cocktail party raising money for the school, and one guy kind of insinuated, she's like, "Oh, I'm a veteran," and he's like, "Oh, me too." And he was a grunt on the ground in Iraq, and saw plenty of the shit, as they say, and of course they view the Air Force people as not seeing the shit. But she was a trauma nurse for the Air Force, a captain in the Air Force based in Ramstein, Germany, where they fly in all the soldiers that have hurt in theater from Afghanistan and Iraq. That are blown up. Like the worst story. She said she knew exactly what that guy said by the way he said it. And she dressed him down in a semi-unofficial way about the shit that she saw just coming in on, the gurneys from the back of C-17s. And I'm getting the chills retelling the story. When I was listening to it, I was like, ooh. It's like in World War II, those guys would have been dead. They'd have been like, well, we didn't have this problem in World War II because they just died. We couldn't save their lives.
Because they couldn't fix it.
Right. Now we can fix it, but it comes along with all sorts of other stories. Anyway, you're working on a lot of things here, Miss Pixie. You're quite busy. You're quite busy. We do want to thank you for coming to our show today, and we're looking forward to having you on other shows just to learn and have general commentary. Maybe we can have you on another Technical Tuesday, and then your mind will really expand, and you can ask questions and things like that.
Or implode. It could go either way. Like that could be my undoing.
Right.
And I think at this point, and I see the little smirk on Pedro's face, so if I come in on a Technical Tuesday, I already know that I should just buckle up because he's going to hand it to me.
Nah.
It's going to be like college all over again.
Trust me, my brain fills up, especially when he gets on a deep topic that in his mind, he's been talking about this for 10 years. So the relationships between the first sentence and the last sentence are apparent to him. But I start laughing halfway through it. I'm like, that's a lot to unpack. He's like, no, I'm doing simply. It's a simple concept. I'm just explaining it to the simple guy. And I'm like, Pedro, if you see me laughing, that means it's past me, and I worked in the industry for a little bit. So
we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, and it's not that I'm trying to be like, I got to be careful because I'm not trying. I don't want to sound smart, right? Like, I want to be able to sound very common and keep it very non-technical. But if somebody asks you, hey, how do stars move? You can simply say that it's the gravitation of dark matter, right? And then all of a sudden people are like, well, what's dark matter? And then all of a sudden you're like, well, if we're going to go into
E equals MC squared, and then we're going to start this, and then this, and that.
And so and then before you know it, the person is just like way overwhelmed, and you're still talking very, in regards to the topic itself, very, very shallow. But because it can get deep, because people's minds are inquisitive, right? Like we've got 3 learners here, right? And I probably have the most time out of everybody, right? Where I can go through and I can just learn on things, like learning about freaking dire wolves and how we literally just like created them. And like,
can you learn how to adopt one? Because I want one.
Right?
Like I've already got a Belgian Malinois, so I've got like the Maligator. I feel like if I had a dire wolf, dude, I would be untouchable. Like, come at me, bro. Which side do you want? The dire wolf or the Maligator?
And in related news, the population of Georgia went to 0 recently.
Except for Pixie.
News
Pixie
at 11.
and husband are still here.
You know what I just found out, which I thought was so interesting, was that the amount of tigers that are in Texas, and I learned this on the Joe Rogan show, are more than the tigers that are out in the wild population.
It's all the people that own them and keep them in captivity.
Who has all these tigers in Texas?
This is exactly what I'm thinking. And here's the part that I'm thinking. What if something happens, hypothetically, in an area where all of a sudden, like, let's say there's a massive wildfire, a massive just goes crazy, and it just scorches just land. I mean, I know Texas is huge, but let's say it just goes through and releases 3 or 4 tigers into the wild. Dude, like,
don't worry, I'll go with that, like, snacks and be like, come here. I'll do that, and then I'll have a pet tiger.
And the thing that we're creating, like, did you hear that they can actually reconstruct and produce, and this is what blows me away, a woolly mammoth.
I saw that too. They're gonna figure out some way to give it a womb to grow in, and we're gonna have woolly mammoths again.
Dude.
All right, so can we make a mini one, because I don't have room for the woolly mammoth, right?
You can actually get
I could probably get a miniature one.
You can get a woolly mammoth mouse.
Okay, I want it to be bigger than that. Maybe like the size of a baby elephant. That would be cool. Like, that way it still has the look of the actual woolly mammoth. It's just tiny.
It's crazy when you think about this. I mean, you just wait until we come across like real dinosaur blood. Well, I even think they can do it.
I thought they had already found dinosaur blood.
They're finding stuff. It's going to be Jurassic Park again.
Dude, but here's the thing. In real life, this ain't even a movie. Like, this is real life stuff happening as we speak. And it is literally blowing my mind with everything that is correlated with it. I mean, from the pyramids that we found that they've talked about with Giza, right? Which was basically 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Then this thing.
What's the news on the pyramids?
What's up?
What was the news on the pyramids?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the pyramids.
Okay, basically that underneath Giza, the actual pyramid itself, I think it's 6 or 8 huge. They go down like almost 2 miles, I believe. Either a mile or 2 miles. I forget exactly what it is. We'll just say a mile. It goes down a mile.
Oh yeah, I saw someone post something that basically showed like the Washington Monument, and the pyramid was just the peak of it, and the rest of it was buried.
Yes, and so I don't know if it's 6 or 8 huge cylinders that basically go down to the bedrock, and in the bedrock, you literally have, I think it's 4 squares, giant squares that are down underneath this whole entire structure. So it basically looks like a giant pyramid, and then underneath that giant pyramid, you have these like cylinder effects, and around the cylinder effects, supposedly there are what do you call it? Stair ladders around the pyramid, around the cylinder devices that go down into the bedrock, that you can walk all the way down into these great vats of I don't know, just giant blocks. Yeah, so you can actually go in.
I've got the article up here.
I feel like Indiana Jones.
You're right, exactly.
Temple of Doom.
Indiana's exactly what it is. They use synthetic aperture radar, Pedro, just like we talked about a while ago on it, to really work on the ground. And they came back. They haven't actually discovered it physically or with cameras or with eyeballs, but the radar shows that there are structures down there that are not natural structures. What if they're spaceships for aliens?
Oh my gosh. We could go so far with this. I
I
feel like somebody is talking to Pedro that is not us. Or what are you looking at to your right?
Yeah. Oh, he's got 93 screens in front of him.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, who is in there with you?
Who's the really tall person?
My husband is 6'5", and I am 5'4". So,
whoa.
Yeah, I'm like a short thing compared to him, but he's still scared of me because I'm spicy.
You know what's funny? I had a friend of mine who was like 6'7", 6'8". His wife was like 6'4" too. I was in the military with him. I want to say he was like 6'7", and she was this short little skinny girl. And I was like, y'all are like the odd couple, but they had the same personalities, so they worked well together. And you can totally understand. She was a sailor, and she was an officer sailor, and he met her. I don't know if she was at the. He's like 27, and she was graduating the New London's Coast Guard Academy, and so he met her up there just at a bar, and they started flirting, whatever, and found out. Yeah, basically. And then they're like, "What do you do?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm an officer, or I'm soon to be an officer at the U.S. Coast Guard." And she was like, and what was so funny is he's like, "Oh shoot," because he was an EM1 or he was an E6, and he was just like, "Dang it," because you're not allowed to, fraternize.
Officers and enlisted can't mix.
Yeah, and I think they had to like get some thing, and it can if certain things happen, right? And so you had to get approval. They had to get approval and all this stuff. But I'm like, when you see them, when they stand together, and he's holding her hand, and she's like this, right? Like literally, like
right. It's like a toddler and a parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just is like dog. And sometimes like she'll kiss him bye. I remember she used to kiss him bye, and it was so, you're just like, dude, like it just mentally you're just.
It's because little people, like us short people, we have big attitudes. So when I first met my husband, I met him in a bar also. Yeah. Crazy story. And my first words to him were, "I shit you not. Do you want to fight?" Me, 5'4", asked a 6'5" dude in a bar if he wanted to fight.
That's funny.
And now I'm married to him because he was like, "Yep, I want that one." He's fighting.
That one'll do.
So yeah, it's because I tell people we're short, so we're closer to hell. We have attitude issues, and I'm a redhead to boot, so I'm like, I have that little extra pizzazz, but it's totally a thing. I think the Indiana Jones thing is really cool. I would probably take a tour down there. Yeah. I would be the one to. Okay, so if there was a button, like one button that says "Do not push this button, the world will implode," I will push that button. Like that, absolutely, like without a doubt. Like I'll try not to for about 13 seconds, and then I'm just going to smash it to see what happens because the ADHD kicks in, right? Like I have to throw the bomb out there and see what happens. If the world ends, that's my bad.
And to be honest, someone was, if there was a button like that, someone was going to press it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And I just hope that, if there is that button one day, it's me. But if there's like who was it? James Cameron that went down to like the deepest trenches of the ocean?
Yeah, for the abyss.
I would do that. Absolutely. And
well, after all those people just died doing it.
They did it in like a tin can. That
right.
Doesn't even count. Like James Cameron did it in like a legit, like underwater spaceship kind of thing. But submarine, not spaceship. Jesus. But yeah, I would definitely do that kind of stuff. I would travel the mile down underneath the pyramid to see the what ifs and the what's down there's. I feel like Pedro would go with me.
I've been to the pyramids. I used to do a lot of business in Egypt, and I went over and I did it. I didn't do the camel ride because everyone says you get a lot of fleas from it. But there's not a lot to do there. You go look at it and stuff, but there's plenty of buskers and people that want to sell you stuff and sell you their version of the tour around and that type of stuff. If there's like some mega structure underneath, that business is going to explode. I mean, it's really gonna go nuts.
I'm still stuck on the fleas part of that.
I know it's exactly what when you said please. I was like,
Yeah, the camels there are not. They're. Everyone told me, even my Egyptian sales guy, he was like, whatever you do, don't ride the camels. And so now on Instagram and stuff, you see all the people riding the camels over there, and I'm like, ew.
Your skin just starts like getting that crawly feeling. Gross.
dude,
My dog has the hiccups, and she is scared because she has the hiccups. So she just like ran over here and it's like dove into my lap because she's got the hiccups.
Isn't it funny? Like the biggest of like these animals that are just could rip the smallest of things, like cause them to be afraid, and you're like, right? Like, what is going on? So it's really interesting to sit there to see the dynamic, right? And they are complicated but very basic, right? Like an animal, like basic emotions but complicated personalities, right?
Yeah, and like,
go ahead.
it's crazy. She's 30 pounds less than me. Okay, she is protection trained, and she is all up in my lap because she's got the hiccups. I'm ready to come get this dog.
Yeah, from definitely like an emotional level, you definitely get that paternal feeling of just like, wow, emotionally you connect with them. Jumping back to what you're saying, but I almost want to bring this up here. So we talked about crude oil coming down to our level here. Coming down, we saw a gap down, push down into that 54 area here. Sorry, side note, I just want to bring this up. So we're selling off here, and you can see here as us coming down to the 55 to 45 area here, we definitely saw some good buying here. With the amount of sellers coming in this past week, it was just, like I said, that 55 area is a cheap area, but I think we're going to see it come back down. Be ready for a potential pullback up to 65. Which is going to be sitting, this is crude oil again, at this level. Now, the other part behind it as well is if this thing starts to see a turnaround, right?
Right.
And we see it, you could potentially catch a short on this. At least I'm looking for the short of the break of the 8-period moving average here, as the break happens here. So we're starting to get really overextended here, and you can see the buyers are dropping off here.
What time frame you got up there? I'm hiding it behind the logo.
This is the 5 minute. So I'll just this right here. Boom.
So it's just to be clear for the new people and our co-host, the 8-period moving average is that line right underneath the candles there.
Yeah,
it's the average of the 8 previous candles. And what Pedro is saying is that if it dips down below that, that could be a signal that there's going to be a small move down and a potential short sell and making some money on the price going down.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike the Cryptonaut is back.
Oh, what's up, Mike? How you doing, man? It's good
Hope you're all doing well. This picture is like delicious, a hair sandwich and Tom the hair butter. Mike, I believe his native language is German. I believe I'm correct.
I like it. Hair butter or hair of Trump. Every time I think of like hair, I always think of hair of Trump. Whatever happened to those guys?
I don't know, but they were hilarious.
Dude,
Hair of Trump?
Yeah,
Were they like a meme coin?
Yeah, it's a meme coin, and they kept screen capturing us and putting Trump wigs on us and stuff. It was really funny. It's very entertaining.
That's so cool.
It was absolutely epic. I absolutely loved it, and I was just like, I cracked up, man. The stuff that they would do, just like, that is so creative, just like smart. So this doesn't make sense to me. So I'm seeing gold push up. We're seeing everything else push up. And it doesn't make sense to me. We should not be seeing the rallies in the market and gold pushing up like we are. One of these are going to give. It's not, I mean, very rarely do you see the market push up and the gold. But again, we've ran out of buyers on the indexes and we definitely ran out of sellers on gold. I mean, look, this huge rally up here, right? So that's why I'm like, the sell-off potentially bringing in sellers, people taking profit, and then looking to push it back up. This created the demand wick for the contract. So you can see it went up first and then came down. There was no demand wick here. So it went up to go down, creating the demand wick into the second week. Now we could potentially see it go back up. We hit the 50-period daily moving average on gold, so which means that this correlates to Bitcoin. Whereas if we start to see gold push up, there's a potential playing with people's emotion here. And this is why I'm looking at this, because I'm looking at gold push up, traditional markets push up, and are we going up to higher time frame SMAs? That's my biggest thing. What are we doing here? Like, are we going up to hit it? And that 8 period is sitting at that 85 area for BTC, and then the Nasdaq come on, Nazi, where you at? Nazi is sitting around that 19,700. So it's definitely one of these things that I'm weary of. But it does make sense that we've been literally selling off for almost, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. We've only had 1 week sell off, right? So you're definitely lacking buyers as we're coming down. Remember the meeting of buyers and sellers, right?
Yeah. When did that start? When was that time period? That 7 weeks ago? That was inauguration.
No. It was in February, so February 18th-ish area.
Oh, right. I was thinking too many months. So that's when Trump really started talking about tariffs.
Tariffs. Yep, that's exactly when. Right.
And so he's and Pixie, I have you off screen here, but you're still on, just so we could do this. We've been talking about this because that it's advantageous for the U.S. government to have the market tank and do this right now. And there's many topics on that, including the strength of the U.S. dollar, the price of the yields on bonds, the prices of a lot of other things. If it comes down, then the government can do what it needs to do at a much lower prices on things. It can refinance its bonds better. It can do all sorts of things are better, including since our dollar is weaker, it's cheaper for overseas people to buy things in U.S. dollars. And so that helps our exporting and our manufacturing get going here.
So I am not the technical person that Pedro is, but just, reading the news and watching certain things go down, I was like, this feels like government manipulation. Like, there's a reason that these certain things are going down.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's not so much manipulation by the government.
Right.
Right. One of the things you need to always remember is that the market is like a hive mind. It knows when the government starts signaling things, what it wants to do, the market figures it out. The market, Pedro and I didn't just go like, oh, hey, we knew it was going to come down, and everyone else is like, wow, these guys are geniuses. The market in general knew. It said, oh, they want these economic policies are going to happen. So a bunch of stuff needs to happen, which means lower prices for all this type of stuff. We need to refinance our debt cheaper. We need to be able to do things that we need to export more, so the dollar needs to be weaker. Those are all known things that people know. And so the market prices that in, and that's what the market's doing right now. It's pricing all of this in, and it's bringing it down. And if you listen to Pedro, take one thing away, that when he says it goes down for one reason, that means it's so it can reverse and go the other direction. And so they're bringing this market down. They, meaning the big financial players of the world, bringing the market down. They'll reset where the money is going to go to deal with the tariffs, and then we'll see a boom again. Unless there's something like war or an outlying fundamental thing that it's not priced in.
If we have war, you absolutely believe all the money is going to come into the U.S. market. Like, it would be really interesting to see if, like, as of right now, right, China.
Drive safe,
Japan.
Cryptonaut. Don't crash while you're typing for us.
Yeah, bro, be safe, dog. Most people don't realize, right? Like, yes, right now, China, Japan, many other countries can outproduce us when it comes to actual goods and services. But we saw in World War II that people and Americans come together like this even now. Like if there's a real major catastrophe, right? Like 9/11 or something like that, and they come and it's done by somebody outside of our country, and just most people, we're very tribal, and we will be like, you know what, F you, you're going, my brother can hit me, right? Like my brother who's a left, even a far left brother, right? Here in America, I may take a hit or whatever, I can get pissed or whatever, right? But if you hit him, like I don't care. Like I can hit him, you can't, right?
Yeah,
like that.
My brother and I say the same thing. We can fight, but you're not going to fight either one of us without having to put up with the other.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's and part of me almost feels like if there is a real war with, let's say, the East and the West mindset, I think the West it's very much going to be like, you just hit my brother. Like, you know what you just did. Like, and this is unspoken rule that is very, we'll play nice with each other, right? You are frenemies, and that's cool. But when a push comes to shove, you mess with Canada, right?
Right.
America's going to be like, all right. Yeah, they may have been taking the money from China. Fair enough. But you cross the line, dude.
Ultimately, the people stick together here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be really interesting to see this play out, like in a real war situation, if we do go into war. And I was thinking about I've been reading how the Axis and the Allies, right, and how it all balanced out and the way it worked, and how China was along the Ally side, and that's actually kind of why they kept the way they stay strong, right? And so it's interesting to see now if we're going to go into World War III, what are who are the game players going to be? You know what I'm saying? Obviously America,
it'll be just an effing disaster. That's all you need to know.
Who would be it? Who do you think would be it? Anyways.
That music you're hearing in the background is the key that the show is coming to an end here. We've been on the air for more than 2 hours today.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like 2 hours.
I know, it goes so fast on this show. You can't even believe it. There was so many times, especially when I come back to Central Time. Usually our show is from 12:30 to 2 in my mind on Eastern Time. And then when I'm back here in Central Time where I am now, it should be 11:30 to 1. And I'll look at the clock and it'll say 1. And I'll be like, oh, we still got another hour left. And no, he's been on the air for an hour and a half. And now I'm looking at this 1:44 and I'm like, wait, that's 2:40. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's when you're around fun people and then you're a fun person, time just flies. It's just, you don't even realize it.
Yeah, especially when you're learning too. And every one of these shows is a learning experience, especially when it's something I know, but I haven't really talked it through. And then I bounce it off Pedro and stuff like that. And my idea solidifies it. And I'm like, now I get it. I get that kind of stuff. Anyway, we've come to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank my co-host over to this side of me, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, and our beginning our guest and beginning co-host, Pixie from Ladies on Sol, Ice Trade, XBL, and a whole litany of other projects too.
It's GG's.
And GG, yeah.
It was XBL.
Oh, it was
we
XBL.
Rebranded because we had to take the word official out. So. Because CoinGecko did not like that, so we rebranded and relaunched with GG's. And the sunglasses in that picture is just cracking me up. I love your Photoshop skills. That arm is a little wonky, and the sunglasses, man.
Well, maybe next time I'll use the real picture you sent me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the time and effort you spent watching our show, commenting it. If you're watching this on the replay and you get to the end of the show, you're a wizard, and thank you very much for doing that. But drop some comments. If you drop some comments underneath the video, Pedro and I read those. We will get back to you and answer your questions. As always, We're around usually all the time at noon during the day. We will not be here tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to be driving to Canada. We'll be back on Friday with Full Rant Friday and maybe another episode of our show. And also pay attention for you Rumblers, pay attention. I'm starting to do some later night news and talk on Rumble Premium to satisfy our creator agreement and partner agreement with Rumble. So everyone, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Who's going to get the last quote of the day here? It looks like Draco is going down with it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day. We will see you soon.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. And I'll be back to learn more from Pedro.
Hold on there. You.
Okay.